My mom is going to explode. I can tell. Her knuckles holding the chopsticks turned white, her lips were trembling, and her eyes were beginning to turn red. That was a sign of her outbreak, and I'd seen it too many times. My dad sat across from me and pushed a piece of paper over. His tone was as calm as if he was reading a quarterly report. Wanqing, I have someone outside. Please take a look at the divorce agreement. My mother stood up suddenly, the chair legs scraping against the floor with a screeching sound. I held her wrist down. Mom, I said, sit down. She looked down at me, her eyes almost burning. I didn't let go. My dad frowned, probably thinking that my daughter was too ignorant. Why would a child get in the way when adults talk about divorce? But he didn't say anything. He just pushed the piece of paper forward again. While I was holding down my mother's wrist, my other hand pressed the record button on the phone under the table. I have been practicing this movement for 3 months. From the moment I found that ambiguous text message on my dad's phone, from the moment I found out that he worked overtime for 3 consecutive Fridays, I knew that this day would come sooner or later. I just didn't expect that he would choose the day when I had just finished my high school entrance examination. Before the scores came out, he was eager to get rid of us. Liang Zhengbang, my mother's voice was trembling. How long have you been with that woman? Half a year. Half a year. My mother repeated, her voice suddenly sharp. When you went to bed with her, did you think about your daughter's high school entrance exam next month? Wanqing, you told me that you were busy at work, busy with social activities. Have you been to your daughter's parent-teacher conference once every 3 years? Where were you last time her fever reached 40 degrees? My dad's face fell. What he hates most is others rehashing old scores. I squeezed my mother's hand gently under the table. Don't make trouble. Don't make a fuss. My mother took a deep breath and swallowed back the rest of the words. I felt the muscles in her wrists go from tightening to loosening, like a cat with fried hair being forcibly smoothed. I'm sorry, my mother said. Her voice suddenly became very soft. I lost my temper. My dad was stunned for a moment. He probably didn't expect her to apologize. In his script, my mother should cry and throw the dishes in bowls, and then he would have a reason to say, look at your mother, I can't live anymore. But my mother didn't follow the script. Let me take a look at the agreement. My mother sat down and picked up the piece of paper. I glanced at her profile. She wasn't crying. Her eyes were still red, but not a single tear fell. She has known my dad for 20 years. From the time she married him when she was 19 to now, I have never seen her so calm. Unusually calm. 5 minutes later, my mother put down the agreement and looked up at my father. 30 million, an apartment, the car is mine, Beibei's alimony will be calculated separately. Liang Zhengbang, you have a net worth of several hundred million. Is this all you can give me? My dad raised his eyebrows and said, sure enough, he said. How many do you want? I'm not asking for money. My mother said, I just want to ask you, what is that woman's name? How old is she? What does she do? Why do you ask this? I want to know. My mother's voice was calm. I should be qualified to know who I lost to. My dad stared at her for a few seconds, as if trying to detect a hint of anger or jealousy on her face. But nothing was found. He tugged on his tie irritably. Qin Xiaowei, 28, used to work in a beauty salon. Beauty salon, 28. I silently wrote down these 2 pieces of information. My dad added, she's pregnant. The living room was quiet for 3 seconds. My mother tapped her fingers on the table once, just once, then stopped. I know what's going on in her mind. My dad is 52 years old, and Qin Xiaowei is 2 rounds younger than him. She got pregnant within half a year of knowing him. At this speed, either love is too intense, or it's something else. Congratulations, my mother said. My dad looked like he had been slapped. I'm serious, my mother smiled, her mouth curved, but her eyes didn't smile. You always wanted a son. Beibei is a daughter, but you didn't say it, and you felt regretful for more than 10 years. Now that you have it, I'm happy for you. My dad moved his lips, wanting to say something, but in the end, he just stood up and picked up his suit jacket. After reading the agreement, tell me, if you are not satisfied with the terms, you can negotiate. When he walked to the entrance, my mother suddenly said, Brother Liang. He looked back. That photo of the West Lake. My mother said, can you leave it to me? My dad was stunned for a moment. What photo? The first time we went to Hangzhou, we took it on the Broken Bridge. You said that was your favorite photo. My dad was silent. I watched him stand there, his expression changing from irritation to confusion, and then from confusion to something indescribable, like a memory that had suddenly been dug out, stained with dust, but still familiar. He didn't answer, opened the door, and left. After the door closed, my mother sat on the chair, motionless. I walked over, put my phone on the table, and pressed pause recording. Mom. You didn't cry. I know. I can't take the 30 million from my father. My mother looked up at me. Why? Because he is worth more than 30 million. I took out the piece of paper from the drawer in my room. I copied it from my dad's study, a copy of the asset appraisal report from 2 years ago. I stole his office key and took pictures of all the documents with my mobile phone while he was on a business trip. He has 3 companies under his name. One is listed on the Hong Kong stock market, 2 medium-sized industries, 7 properties, plus financial management and equity. The total assets are conservatively estimated at more than 2.5 billion. My mother looked at the piece of paper and was silent for a long time. Then she raised her head with light in her eyes and looked at me as if she knew me again. Beibei, when did you get it? 3 months ago. I said, since you found the text message on his phone. My mother said nothing. She reached out and touched my hair. Her fingertips were a little cold, but very steady. After a long time, she said, my daughter has grown up. So, I folded the piece of paper and put it back into my pocket. I can't ask for 30 million. I have to take at least half. Half. Married couple's property. I said, you have been married to him for 20 years. The company was founded by him after the marriage. All assets were obtained during the marriage. According to the law, you can get at least 50%, 1.5 billion. My mother opened her mouth and closed it again. But you can't make a fuss now. I said, if you make a fuss, break up the relationship, find a good lawyer, transfer assets, make low valuations, and delay the lawsuit, you'll get less than 1/10 of what you get in the end. You have to act. What a play. Play an ex-wife who is not interested in money, but in love. I said, make him feel guilty, make him soft-hearted, and make him voluntarily write more zeros in the agreement. My mother looked at me and suddenly smiled. That smile was a little strange to me. It was like a gray corner in her heart was suddenly lit up. Your mother and I were the pillars of the drama club back then, she said. That night, I exported the recording from my phone in the bedroom, saved it in 3 different cloud drives, and made another copy and put it in the mezzanine of my school bag. Then I opened my notebook and wrote the first line. Article 1. Chin Xiaohui, 28 years old, beauty salon, pregnant, timeline. My dad said, we've known each other for half a year. Going back 6 months, I was preparing for the first model exam when they met. My dad worked overtime every Friday during that time. I wrote down the word overtime and underlined it twice. Then I turned to the next page and started making the second list, my dad's itinerary. I need to know how often he meets that woman, where he goes, and whether there is a fixed pattern. I needed to know why he dumped my mom. Was it just freshness or something else? I didn't sleep well that night and woke up once at 3 o'clock. There was light in the living room, so I went out to pour water and saw my mother sitting on the sofa with the divorce agreement spread out on her lap. She didn't turn on the light, just looked at it in the moonlight, gently stroking the words on the paper with her fingers. Mom. I walked over and sat down. She didn't raise her head. Baby, do you think your father will be with her tonight? Maybe. He has never spent the night outside before, my mother said. He will come back no matter how late. He says the bed at home is comfortable. I didn't answer. She smiled, put the agreement aside, and leaned on my shoulder. Okay, I'm fine. I just want to express my feelings. You go back to sleep. You have to take the exam tomorrow. The exam is over. Oh yes, the exam is over. She closed her eyes. Then it's time for you to sleep. I sat next to her and watched the moon with her for a while. At 4 o'clock in the morning, I said, Mom, I promise you, we will win in the end. My mother didn't open her eyes, but the corner of her mouth curved. You have a very bad tone. I'm serious. I said, believe me. She was silent for a while, and then said, softly. Hashtag chapter 2, first visit. The day Chin Xiaohui came, it was exactly a week before my father's showdown. I was doing English reading comprehension when I heard the doorbell ringing. I have set a rule for myself. No matter what happens, I will brush at least 3 sets of papers every day. My dad doesn't love me, and my mom may get divorced, but the score is my own and no one can take it away. Auntie opened the door, and then I heard a voice. Hello, I'm looking for Sister Zhou. Sister Zhou. Not Mrs. Liang, not Sister Wan Qin, but Sister Zhou. I made a note of this title in my mind. She put herself in the position of a young junior and used weakness to cover up offense. This woman is not simple. I put down my pen and walked out. There was a woman in a white dress standing at the entrance, holding a paper bag in her hand. Her hair was permed, her nails were done very delicately, and her face was not heavily made up, but it was precise. Every stroke was just right. She saw me and smiled. Are you Bebe? You have grown so big. You are so beautiful. When she said so beautiful, the corners of her mouth turned up a little. I've seen this expression before. When the girls in a class compliment others, your skirt is so pretty. They will glance at your shoes to see if they are A grade. It's this kind of smile. Hello, Aunt Qin, I said. When she heard the word aunt, the corner of her mouth froze slightly, less than half a second. But I saw it. My mother came out of the kitchen with her apron still on and a spatula in her hand. The moment she saw Chin Xiaohui, her hands did not shake, her expression did not change, and she even smiled. Here, sit down. Chin Xiaohui put the paper bag in her hand on the coffee table. Sister Zhou, these are the snacks I made myself. You can try them. Dessert. A 28-year-old former beauty salon employee visited his original wife with great fanfare and brought cookies he baked himself as a gift. It's a smart move, smarter than buying anything expensive. Buying a bag is to show off, and making your own snacks is sincerity. My mother didn't refuse. She opened the paper bag, took a look at it, and said, Thank you, you are so handy. Her expression was as natural as if she was greeting a neighbor. Chin Xiaohui sat down on the sofa and looked around the living room. Sister Zhou, this house is really comfortable, and the decoration style is very warm. I've lived here for more than 10 years, so I'm used to it. Brother Liang said that he bought this house with his first pot of gold that year. Here he comes. My mother poured Chin Xiaohui a cup of tea and said lightly, Well, he bought it the year he started his business. Chin Xiaohui nodded, touched the edge of the cup, and was silent for 2 seconds. Then she raised her head and said in a particularly sincere tone, Sister Zhou, I came here today to say sorry to you. My mother didn't answer, just looked at her with tea in hand. I know I shouldn't come. Chin Xiaohui lowered her head, but I was with Brother Liang, not on purpose. We met at a party, and he was in a bad mood at that time, so I talked to him for a few words. Later, then. She raised her eyes to look at my mother, her eyes a little red. I'm not here to show off. I just want to tell you that I won't compete with you. Brother Liang said he would make arrangements for you, and I support him. If you need help in the future, you can come to me. Every sentence in this passage seemed rehearsed. Not on purpose, put the responsibility on fate. In a bad mood, implies that my dad is unhappy in this family. Support him. Show yourself to be generous. You can come to me. Put yourself in the position of the giver. Clever. Really clever. I rated her in my mind. 8 points. 2 points are deducted because the phrase, "a house is bought with a first pot of gold," is too deliberate. After hearing this, my mother put down the teacup and smiled. "Just be good to Brother Liang. I don't hate you." Qin Xiaohui's eyes lit up for a moment. She probably thought my mother had really given up. "Really," my mother said again. "I've been with Brother Liang for 20 years, and I know what kind of person he is. If he really likes someone, there is no way to stop him. If he likes you, then you should treat him well." Qin Xiaohui's eyes turned red again, this time sincerely because she won. She sat there for an hour, and when she left, she hugged my mother at the door and said, "Sister Zhou, you are so kind. I will visit you often in the future." After the door was closed, my mother stood in the entrance hall, wiping her hands with a calm expression, as if she had just touched something unclean. "Mom," I said, "you just acted really well." My mother turned to look at me. I didn't act. I told the truth. I was stunned for a moment. "I don't hate her," my mother said. "I hate your dad. That woman just did what your dad wanted to do. She wanted to take advantage. Your dad wanted to replace her, and the two of them hit it off. Why do I hate her? It's a waste of my emotions to hate her." She walked back to the kitchen and continued cooking. The sound of the spatula hitting the edge of the pot was clear and crisp. I stood in the living room and looked at the paper bag on the coffee table, the biscuits made by Qin Xiaohui. I opened it and took a look. It was indeed baked by myself. It looked good and had a strong milky aroma. I picked up my phone and took a photo. Then I opened my notebook and turned to the Qin Xiaohui page. Article 2. First visit. Bring homemade snacks and play the sincerity card. Keywords. It's not intentional. He's in a bad mood. I won't rob you. You can come to me. Purpose. Show weakness plus apply pressure plus establish one's position. I finished writing the last sentence and closed the notebook. My mother made braised pork for dinner, but my father didn't come back. My mother ate most of the bowl by herself and said to me, "I'll take you to buy some new clothes tomorrow." I said, "I don't lack clothes." She said, "To get into a good university, you must have a few decent things. Mom is rich." As I watched her picking up the rice, I suddenly felt that she actually knew everything. She just chose to deal with it in another way. Hashtag chapter 3, round 2. Qin Xiaohui's second visit was 10 days later. This time she wore a goose yellow dress, and a slight curvature of her belly could be seen. When she came in, I noticed that she had changed her shoes. The first time she wore flat white shoes. This time she wore low-heeled sandals, probably because she wanted my mother to notice her pregnancy. Sure enough, she made a move when she sat down. She put her hands on her waist, sat down slowly, and then let out a slight hiss. My mother put down the book in her hand. "What's wrong?" "It's okay." Qin Xiaohui smiled. "My waist has been a little sore recently. Maybe it's because I'm a month old." "How many months?" "A little over 4 months." My mother poured a glass of water for her. "Then be careful. Pay attention to it in the first 3 months and the next 3 months. Qin Xiaohui took the water glass, took a sip, and then took out a folder from her bag as if she suddenly remembered something. "By the way, Sister Zhou, I came here today to show you this." She opened the folder, and inside were several printed photos, the ultrasound photos. A blurry black and white picture with a small human figure curled up in the middle. "Look," Qin Xiaohui pointed to her. "These are little hands, and these are little feet. The doctor said they're well developed." Brother Liang cried when he saw them. My mother looked down at the B ultrasound photo, her expression unchanged. She even smiled. My eyes looked like Brother Liang. Qin Xiaohui also smiled, and there was a sense of pride in her smile that you finally admitted it. But I noticed one thing. When she was flipping through the B ultrasound photos, her fingers paused on the back of the paper, as if confirming something. I wrote this action down. "Sister Zhou." Qin Xiaohui put away the photo. "I know it may not be appropriate for me to say this, but I have discussed it with Brother Liang. After the child is born, you and Beibei can come and visit often if you like. It is always good to have an extra person to care for the child." She paused when she said, "you and Beibei," as if she was thinking about her words. But that pause revealed one thing. What she really wanted to say was Beibei, not you and Beibei. She wanted me to see the child. Why? Okay. My mother said. After Qin Xiaohui left, I followed my mother into the kitchen. "Mom, what is she planning?" My mother put the used teacup in the sink and turned on the faucet. "She hopes you will recognize the child. In this way, when the property is divided in the future, the part you can get will be reduced because you have recognized the existence of that brother or sister. Legally, if you don't recognize it, it is your father's illegitimate child, and you will get the lion's share when the money is divided. If you recognize it, she can say that you accept this family and pull you to her side." I was stunned for a moment. "You even know this?" "Your mother. I've been married to your father for 20 years. I don't ask about things about his company. It doesn't mean that I don't understand." My mother turned off the faucet and shook the water on her hand. "Do you think I am so stupid?" I'm speechless. She turned around and looked at me with a serious expression. "Beibei, that woman is not simple. She has calculated every step. She doesn't want your father. She wants your father's money. Your father is in charge now and will obey her in everything, but when she gives birth to a child, she will find a way to transfer the property into her own hands step by step. Even if your father wakes up, it will be too late. Then what do we do?" My mother wiped her hands. "Wait. What are you waiting for? Wait until your dad falls down by himself." She said, "He believes her now, and he won't listen to anything you say. The more you persuade him, the more jealous you become. It's better to let him discover by himself. Some people are born with the inability to hide." That night I lay in bed thinking about my mother's words. She's right, but I can't just wait. What if my dad never finds out? What if Qin Xiaohui moves quickly enough and transfers all the property first? I got up and turned on the computer and searched for the name of a company, the annual report of the listed company under my father's name. I spent 2 hours reading the entire document and then found another company, the beauty salon where Qin Xiaohui worked before. I searched using her name plus the name of the beauty salon and found nothing. She changed another keyword, Qin Xiaohui, and added the name of the beauty salon owner. An old news story from 3 years ago popped up. The owner of a local beauty salon was investigated for fraud and his partner lost contact. Qin Xiaohui's name was not mentioned in the news, but I noticed that the partner's last name was Qin. I saved the screenshot. This thing may or may not work, but you can never have too many clues.